Okay, the second step in the process is to understand your own organization and how they make decisions when they're procuring or buying something like a modular classroom. If you haven't purchased a modular classroom before, you can use examples such as buses for schools or backhoes for the physical plant. So the first question is usually, are you a public school or a private school? If you're a public school and you're using taxpayer dollars, there are going to be laws and requirements that you have to follow. As an example, in the state of Ohio, anything that is over $25,000 needs to be publicly bid. Okay? There are exceptions for emergency requisition or some kinds of leases, but generally speaking, if you're at $25,000 or more, you need to do a public bid. That means someone is going to have to design a bid package, you're going to have to advertise that bid, and then you're going to have to have sealed bids submitted and opened. It's a process that is designed to protect the taxpayers to make sure that they get the best value. It's an entirely different process than if you're a local church that is going to write a check out of their own treasury. Okay, but there are problems that crop up in the process even if you're a private organization. So for instance, if any of you have been involved in procuring services or materials for a church, or anybody who's been involved in a church meeting, if you're like my church, we have difficulty deciding which end of the public space to place our coffee pot, whether it should be at the north end of the hall or the south end of the hall. And we have to have 3 monthly meetings and pray to the Holy Spirit and have the Holy Spirit move among us to determine should the coffee pot be at the north end of the hall or the south end of the hall. So we have our own problems in private organizations making decisions. It's best to understand that process before you go into it so that you're prepared for it. The second part of that is, who are the decision makers? Who else besides you is going to be involved in the decision-making process? Is it going to be the rector? Is it going to be the superintendent? Is it going to be the treasurer of a public school district? Who are the key decision makers that are going to be involved? And we usually recommend that this not be more than 3 or 4 people, okay? And then probably most important in the process is, how long does it take you as an organization to make a decision? Some churches will require, according to their bylaws, 60 days to go through the process of buying this modular building. They will have to have it on the agenda and announced at church for 2 consecutive months before they can do that. We need to understand that, because if your building needs to be in 120 days, that means that we need to get on the agenda right away. Likewise, public schools will often take at least 60 days to prepare and advertise a bid package. And then they will have to go to the public school board to have that approved. That sometimes can take an additional 30 days. We need to know all these items that are involved in the process so that we can make sure that we don't miss crucial deadlines.